I'm lovely. I'm doing very well and happy with what I have done so far for my country. I must say that I have no regrets. I started working in the Ministry of Finance in charge investment and privatization in 2016, a position which was previously held by two men. There was a Minister for Investment, Honorable Ajedra Gabriel, and then there was the Minister for Privatization, Honorable Aston Kajara. And so I am the first minister in the NRM government to hold this position, which was initially held by two ministers and now by myself. It's been a roller coaster of events, very exciting. I always say that when I got appointed, there were only two industrial parks. And one of them was Namav Industrial Park. It only had 15 factories. Today, we are having 449 factories in Namav Industrial Park. And the other one was Bwegere. Bwegere had like 10 factories, and today we are talking about 19 factories in Bwegere. So we've since done Bwegere, we've done Lugazi, not Lugazi, Luzira, and we've done Kasese Industrial Park, and Mbale, which was nowhere. It was only land that government had acquired from Bogiso Cooperative Union, and it was full of squatters, and we've been able to transform that to now having 54 factories in that industrial park, and then the likes of Kapeka Industrial Park, the whole stretch of Buyukwe, Balala Industrial Park, Jinja Industrial Park, where the Kayolaka is, and also we had to do a land search drive. The president directed that we should establish 25 industrial parks, and I wrote personally letters to all the local governments in the country, and I got good feedback from the local governments. And so we have gazetted industrial parks in all the 18 zones of Uganda. The only thing is that we now have to do the work of attracting investment in that area, or investors in those areas, and some of them have got ready feasibility studies, and some of them at the stage of having an investor, but just waiting for boundary opening. It's investment work is an exciting work, because you're talking about opportunities, and you are in Uganda, and these opportunities are there. So it's very easy, because the president has made it easy for us. The first ask from an investor is peace and stability. They will ask, are you a peaceful country? And so I do not shy away to say that Uganda is actually one of the best destination for investment, because it is very, very peaceful. We got awards of being the best investment destination in Africa. In East Africa, we're number one and one of the top 10 best investment destination in Africa. My target ever since I joined office was to beat the record that Mauritius has been holding to be the best investment destination, and I'm very happy that we scoped it, that Uganda is, and one of the reasons is peace and stability. The other is our policies, giving land for free to investors, our tax incentives, non-tax incentives, our young and agile population that is trainable. Those are some of the things that make it very thick, and the transparency that has made it possible for us to be able to attract investors in this country. Now, as I speak, we are having over 6,000 factories. Over 6,000 factories in this country. But when NRM came to power, to use what the president said, there were only 84 factories in the whole of Uganda. And most of those 84 factories were national government factories. So privatization happened, and with privatization, and with what we coined in NRM, that it's a private sector-led economy. That's why we saw so many other private sector players coming on board, having non-nationals, nationals coming into the sector of manufacturing. And I must say that, Umar, it is It's exciting because the policy directs you what other areas of investment you should focus your energy on. For instance, manufacturing, commercial agriculture, ICT, services. These four make it easy for me to go out and tell the people to come in, and also encourage Ugandans that go to the areas where you can get high return on investment.
What has been your biggest challenge?
Corruption. It has been the biggest challenge because we speak so much about investment promotion. President Museveni goes out and speaks about investment promotion. I'm speaking about investment promotion. And there's this African belief that anybody white has a lot of money. And they don't know that these are actually people looking for ways of multiplying their resources. So I have seen people coming to my office and having to tell me, I'm telling them that, you see, land for investment is for free, and then they will tell me, Honorable Minister, togamba chino, togamba, don't say this one, don't say it is free. And then I have had to fight with my fellow nationals to tell them, no, don't engage in corruption. The land is for free. What is important for us is job creation. And this is not the challenge only with the private sector people. That is also a challenge that I faced internally, because you'd have some technical people really their interest not being industrialization for job creation. Their interest is how can I get a quick money for myself. So that has made me to have a clash of values and aspiration. My aspiration is to see us having jobs created for the people, but then I get derailed. There's this person who is supposed to be responsible for doing a particular service, providing a license, providing a certificate, but because they are used to having something kitu kidogo before they do the work, then I have ended up clashing with them. Because you see them by the fruits they bear, and the fruits are always visible. It is the delays. I have had to quarrel in my line of duty with so many people because they would sit on a certificate or a license or a title, line title, just because they want to first get something kidogo. So I have to push through the system. So it's made me to get many friends and also made me to get many enemies. So the friends are those whom I have helped to actually unlock the bottlenecks, human-made, man-made bottlenecks, which I have had to unlock. The enemies are those whom I actually grabbed the keys by force and said, you must do it. And in the beginning, I would, if I felt it was too much, I would run to the president and report. And then he helps me to amplify my voice, and then he screams at them, and then we get it solved. The things that I didn't like is that even when the president has directed, somebody still sits on the letter. And I could not understand that.
Waiting for Kito.
Yes, because the fountain of honor has written. Who are you down the lane to sit down on his letter? So I didn't understand that. So I would just ask, where is the letter? And once I find it, and then I would assume responsibility that it is up to me to make sure the work of the president is done, and then they would become my enemies. Because anybody who comes to greet you, you think that they've come to ask for money. Now that is where my colleague politicians get it wrong. I keep on telling them it is good to help your constituency, but help them with bigger projects. Help when you can. Learn to say, I cannot. Anybody who comes to you with a story of miscarriage, that you must facilitate that, no. You can't. Choose where you should help them. There are certain things, tell them this is the government responsibility, so that you're able to develop yourself.
Some say you eat with your voters.
Yes.
Salary, you share the salary.
That is sharing. But what is the percentage of sharing? Because if you decide to give everything to them,
as your boss says.
You see, this is what we get it wrong. That's where we get it wrong. You see, we have turned politicians to ATM machines. The minute somebody senses that you're going to contest, they will shift all their problems on you. When I was growing up, that was not the case. We did not even have numbers of MPs. We didn't have. It wasn't my business that I didn't have school fees that I should call the area member of parliament. No. You have to call your parents and they had to work for it. But now, you don't have school fees, you're going to look for your area member of parliament. You're having headache, you're looking for your area member of parliament. Your eyes are paining, your area member of parliament. Your foot is paying, area member of parliament. You want a new suit, area member of parliament. You want a car, area member of parliament. You want a house, area member of parliament. You want, oh my God, how can you turn the MPs to being an ATM machine? This is wrong. That is why you're seeing them very desperate. That is why an MP is going to want to steal. An MP is going to stretch herself or himself over and above what they earn, even when they have that salary. First of all, you're coming from a village. They detect on you, society detects on you that you must borrow money and have a house in Kampala, decent house. As if that is not enough, it is also dictated upon you, you must have a house in the village. As if that's not burden enough, your first families, immediate family. I came when I was young. I had no burdens like that. I was very young. I was only 24. I was very young. I've told you I had no constituency. The constituency was the whole of northern Uganda. And they were young people like me. So I was just telling them about YLP. We went and worked on the YLP and we gave it to them. Kuboko, I have told you, I didn't face challenges. That's why I spent money. That's why I spent money.
For the election?
Yes. And I got elected. But I spent money. That's when you go to the bank and you withdraw your savings of 500 million and go and pour it there. 100 million you put in your bag, 3 days the money is finished. Yes, I did that. Yes, I did that, but I don't want to do it. Because this is wrong. Because I did it. I know what it means to do all that. So, Omar, let me tell you, we have to change the political system terrain in Uganda because it's in a bad way. So the setting has to change. The setting has to flip. We have to stop commercializing politics. If we don't change that, it's going to bite all of us. It's possible to do that. First and foremost, you have to know what is most important to you. There is a saying that when all is said and done, when it is finished in the public life, what do you have? It's your private life. And what is the private life? It's your husband, your children, your mother, your father, and your siblings. So you have to know how to balance that from the onset of your life. When you go into a political life, remember that the people who truly have your interest at heart are your family members. And it is your husband, your children, your mother, they truly have your interest at heart. Whether you have money or no money, those ones will always be in your corner. And so you have to balance them. You have to create time for them. So for me, I create time. However busy I am with my public life, I must create time for my family. So my advice to everyone who goes into political life is that every other person that you meet on your way in your political life is just for acquaintances. But the true people you have who have your interest and you at heart are your family members. So learn to balance time with them. Yeah, to some extent it does, because then I don't have to wake up from his chest every day. My favorite spot in my bed used to be his chest, because he would be sleeping and I know that I have to put my head there, that all the stress of the day from work, I just knew that there was a place that I was going to unwind, and that was his chest. And so the fact that he is not there, I have to now look up to my pillows, because he's far away, and I have to cuddle my pillow and speak to him as though he is there. until he makes me sleep. So he has to speak me off to sleep. And he does that every night.
Yep.
I feel it because the pillow is not as soft as his wonderful body. So when I just got married, and I got married on 17th of December 2011, and I remember that my husband would drop me to Parliament, and then I would give him a kiss, and then I would call him darling, and senior parliamentarians, female, started telling me, we're only giving you 6 months until you drop that title. You stop calling him darling. And to their surprise, it's 15 years down the road and we're still counting, and he's still my darling. And we don't drop that title, he's still darling. And so they keep on wondering, how did I make it? How did I make it? It's for being genuine with him, being honest, being genuine, being realistic and truthful to my husband. And so I don't hide from him anything. I tell him everything that comes from my heart, and he tells me everything. So we just love ourselves, and without reservation. We do things together, and I want to tell you, it keeps us growing. And what they say, that a family that prays together stays together. We pray together. If there's a problem, if I have a challenge, he's not going to tell me that is my problem. No, it is our problem. My problem becomes his problem. So we will have to sit down and figure out the solution together. And if there is this one person I listen to, it's my husband. If he tells me, darling, you are not doing it, I will not do it. Being a minister has not been an impediment. I live my life. I go downtown in shorts. I go downtown Chukubo. It's not an impediment. For me, I've decided to be Anite. I am myself. I don't pretend. I only respond to people according to the way they approach me. You ask me a rough question, I give you a rough answer. You treat me nicely, I treat you nicely. So for me, that's how it is.
I mean the love.
And the love is also like that. These things of switching off lights and so as to love someone you truly love, it's wrong. For me, I love him the way I love him. And he knows that is how I want to be loved. Even my children know that dad is loved and mommy is loved. So
how many are they?
We have 2 kids. We have 2 girls, and we're happy about that because we needed to create time to love ourselves. So we didn't crowd our space. And
so you plan to have another one?
No, we are not crowding our space.
Put an 8.
We are not crowding our space. If we feel crowded, now we don't feel crowded because we're just enough for ourselves. But if we feel the need, maybe we will. I'm still young, he is young, so we still have chance to make babies if the need ever rises. Have I ever been reproached for displaying affection?
Yes.
Reproached, no. Approached, yes. Severally, they say, oh, this is good. How is Mr. Kajik? And incidentally, when they meet him, they get the same feeling, and then they come back to tell me, your husband loves you so much. So they realize that the love is proportional. He does knows. My president knows that I love my husband so much. He does. I have delivered everything. There is nothing President Museveni has asked me to do that I have not delivered. The most difficult assignment that everyone has failed to do, I have delivered. There is nothing that President Museveni has asked me to do from the time I met him in 2010 that I have not done. Everything he ever wanted me to do, I deliver. I bring it to my boss. So it doesn't affect how I love my husband, where and when. Oh, that's a very interesting question. So, I met him at Uganda Media Center. I was a student. I had come for just a program of mentorship program at Media Center, and Asimo Stephen, who was the chair of the media activists, said, "Oh, meet your brother from West Nile," and he introduced him, and I saw this guy who was very nice looking and yet very, very proud, I must say, reading his newspaper. He just lifted his head up to see whom they are trying to introduce to him, and then he went on reading his newspaper. And he was seated at the back and not mixing with the rest of the young people who were there. And he was the chairperson of youth for Nebi district. And well, after the meeting, I told myself that, that guy who is feeling so sweet, I have to floor him. And when we finished the meeting, I walked to him. And he actually put me on a waiting list. He left me to be in a queue waiting to talk to him. And I waited when it was my turn, and I told him my name. He told me if I wanted to talk more to him, I should come on a Friday. Then that was a Wednesday, and I'm like, Wednesday I've come out of school, Friday I have lectures. He says, well, you want to learn, you have to come. And he was talking about youth politics, and I didn't know anything about youth politics, and I really wanted to know. So I had to come out of university on a Friday and chopped lectures. There I was with him. So when we were talking, I discovered that I knew his brother, who is now a bishop. He's the one who made me to get saved when I was in senior one. I knew his younger sister, she was my close friend at the high school, and also at the university. We were together. And so, well, there we are.
So you made the first move?
We didn't. Yes, I could say I made the first move because I walked to him. But I didn't make the first move to ask him to date me. So when we were there for the meeting, he then told me, where are you going? I said, since it's Friday, I'm going to go to see my fiancé. He says, fiancé? You are not going. What fiancé are you talking about? And I said, yes, I have a boyfriend. And I'm in my second year. I'm hoping to get married to him. He said, you'll not get married to him. Just joking like that. And I'm like, oh, why? So he says, when you go to his house, what are you going to do? I said, I'll be washing his clothes. It's weekend. Preparing. And so he said, really? You're a good woman. So I said, yes, I am. And I went, then we became friends. He also had a girlfriend whom I didn't know. I didn't get to meet. Well, and then we became friends. So one time along the way when we were friends, he told me that he now educated me about this youth politics, and of course he told me his interest of going to contest. And I told him, no, you are not going to contest because you're an introvert. So maybe you can do something else, but to be a politician, you have to be like me. And then he told me, how? I said, you have to be so outgoing. Did you see yourself sitting at the back of the house? And so for me, I am an introvert. And you must have money. I said, yes. He says, do you have the money? I said, my mom has, because my mom was working. She's a businesswoman. And I said, my mom has the money. She will sponsor. I told him, let me give you a deal. Let me go. Give me all the support. I win. If I win, I become your wife. Then you'd be husband to the MP. So he says, that's a brilliant idea. So he surrendered his ambitions of being MP to me. And he supported me, and I won. I graduated in 2008. So we were friends, and we started dating in 2010. So we were friends first, and then we became lovers forever. Yes. So I became his girlfriend. Throughout the campaigns, I was his girlfriend, but we kept it secret. So when I won elections, I didn't know him enough. And so we had to cohabit for 6 months for me to understand him, and then we got married. They had already seen him in the campaigns moving around with me. But then they had their fears. My mom was afraid that I have just invested in my daughter and she's just one. Then she wants to get married. How does she just get married like that? She's supposed to stay with me yet. And how can she start telling me that after all that heavy investment she's getting married? She was worried. And my dad too. My parents were worried that I was going away after heavy investment. Remember, they've just paid school fees. Now they got their money invested in politics. Now I'm getting married. They've not gotten return on investment.
Because they sponsored your bid, your parliamentary.
My mom did. She did. She did single-handedly. My dad chipped in once in a while to support, but the bulk of the burden was shouldered by my mom. She did a great job, and I can tell you she was so worried about making losses. She felt that getting married was going to be a loss at that time, because really I appreciate why she had to feel like that. You've just finished paying school fees. Then your girl says, I want to go into politics. Then she goes, and you have to invest money. You invest heavy money.
Then she wins.
Then she wins. Before you reap on the investment, she says, I'm getting married. So clearly, you're like, how? I had to make my parents appreciate that my husband was a good guy. And they did appreciate, and they confessed it openly to him. Every time we're celebrating my husband's birthday, we celebrate with my parents. And every birthday they have to thank him. Every time they call him, they have to thank him for being a great man. He's not only a great lover and husband to me, but he's a great father to my children. Oh, he's affectionate. Okay, my expression can finish it. He's wow. That's just so good. He is good. Not that African man who doesn't know how to express a lot of love. But he knows how to express love. My husband chooses what I should wear. He buys me clothes. He takes me to shopping. And he will tell me, now you're matching this with this. When he's here, he's going to take the clothes to the laundry. He's the one who told me, don't wash your hands, clothes with your hands. Get the clothes, we take it to the laundry. We take it to the dobby, and the people clean it up, and he will set everything according to color and the theme. If my husband was here, perhaps this is the way he matched these clothes plus the shoes. I can't change it because he's already matched them. So he's matched the bag, he's matched the clothes, he's selecting the hairstyle that I should wear.
He finds time for that.
Yes, he has to. He's dictated that I cannot wear any other colors of nails in my fingers, and on my toes it has to be red full time. In my fingers it has to be natural, the way it is. So he set his rules, and I have to abide by them, and I've done this for the time I met him and forever. And I don't say, no, honey, oh, darling, I have to change this color. I have to. The way you ask the question is the exact way that I was advised by my singers, that you cannot tell the man the money it is, you're supposed to hide it. He must not know how much you earn. You have to hide away whatever you're doing. I hid my money away from him for 6 months, and I did nothing. I'm a generous person. He saw me giving out money, and he called me aside and told me, this is wrong. You're hiding money. Don't forget that I'm the one who wanted to be MP. By the time I wanted to be MP, I knew how much it was going to cost. So, when I went with him to Parliament, to the office of Uganda, Mr. Uganda, the accounts, they asked me to ask him to go out. And I said, why? Because I wanted my pay slip, and I decided that he should see it. And they said, you cannot show him. Then they told me how women have gotten cheated by their spouses in this parliament, and they didn't want me to be a victim. And so I told him, you know what? I trust him. I've made the decision that he has to know how much I earn. And there's something he wants us to do. And he had told me that whatever I have is mine. Whatever he has is mine. So I said, okay, then why don't we do this? Why don't I tell you? So he had a plan of how to invest the money. Actually, the first person who ever taught me financial discipline was my husband. Because I didn't know, I was careless. And he taught me financial discipline. And then I got this money, went with him, and we started spending. We went and borrowed. The first time I went to the bank to borrow, I was shivering like this. It was him who was strong. It's like, how can I borrow? I don't know. How would I repay and all this? Yes, when I was MP. And we borrowed, and my husband built for us out of that money rental units. And our plan was, if this was the last time we're in Parliament, then at least you have permanent income. So we built rental units. Then we started staying in one of them. We were lucky. I became a minister. And then we built a house. And then I went back into politics. I contested the next parliament. So it became easy for us to borrow, and he would be investing. Then he built a hotel in Koboko, the proceeds there, he bought land. My mom actually gave us a land as a gift, and then we started building the hotel in Arua. And so my husband has been there in the story. And to answer your question directly, if you have family conference meeting to discuss money, to discuss investment, and not hide it, you'll progress. So you have to discuss it together, how you're going to invest this money. He has to put his on the table, you put yours on the table, the things that you guys intend to do for the development of your family. That is the easy and the best way. My mom has always been a businesswoman. My dad is both a civil servant and a businessman. So my parents have always been in business. I was born in DRC, in Aru, and my mom started growing slowly and went up to the apex. Once upon a time, my mom was the best transporter of British American tobacco. Now she works in the biggest gold mine in DRC, and she does transport and logistics. So my mom has always been in business. Even when she didn't do formal education, she's a businesswoman, and my dad too. So I must say that thanks to God that I have never lacked. And I thank God for that, because whenever I needed it, my parents provided it. Like everything that I needed for life, my parents provided it. And my mom, I thank her so much, because at the time of my graduation, she presented for me a key to a house, and because she didn't want her daughter to lack. And in Kampala, moreover, in Namngona housing estates, and the house still stands. That was a gift.
All your parents are still alive?
Yes, both my parents, thank God, they're still alive. My mom, my dad, they still work, and now they work with me. My dad is in his internal security. He is called Stephen Dravo. My mom is Sarah Okoro Dravo, and so she does business. So Dravo. So they're all business people, and business runs in the family. And I must say yes.
You were born with a silver spoon.
You can choose to describe it like that, but I do not remember grasses. My dad has 14 of us. My mom has 4 of us. So we are 10 plus 4. So we are 14.
So you come from a polygamous family?
Of course. My dad is an African man. So was polygamous, and then decided to settle down and marry my mom alone. So the woman who is officially wedded is my mom. Memorable moment is being in Sunday school. That I cannot forget it.
Being in what?
Sunday school.
Sunday school.
I loved being in Sunday school, and I would sing in the choir. And my strength and ability of being in leadership started right from the time I was in school, Sunday school. And it shaped me to be who I am, because I learned confidence. I learned that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I learned that my body is the Lord's temple, and it kept me not to mess around with men until when it was time to get married. When I was young, that was the teaching that I learned. I would go very young. Sunday school starts at the age of 5. You have to be in Sunday school. So, very young, I've always been in church, and I give all the glory to the Sunday school teachers and the pastors that I met along the way, and one of them became the bishop of Nebi Diocese and became my father-in-law, and so brother-in-law. So I must say that it is the teaching, and I was wedded by my best preacher when I was growing up, the one I admired most, who would preach, and every time he preached and I got saved again and again. That is Archbishop Orambi, and he ended up wedding me. And because the teaching of the Lord, and he wedded my parents and he also wedded me. So that grew in me, because I know that my strength is not anything. The power bank is Christ. I know it. I know that I am who I am because of one person, and that is God. And when I take him out like this, I am nobody. So because of that, I value God. I didn't expect to be MP, first of all. The fact that I didn't expect to be MP and I became MP, it is my husband's dream. If I must ever go back to politics, that's why I asked you that. I don't know. It's a personal question.
Not yet crossed the
because it's there is this one guy who directs my life, and that's my darling husband, Alan. He will direct it.
So
if he decides
dreamed of becoming
a minister or MP, if he says now, darling, you have to go and contest, I'll say yes, sir. I will go. When I became a minister, I was not intending to be a minister. This time I was aspiring to be MP, and my husband had directed me to go to Koboko. And I was busy deep in the villages and looking for the votes among the people that I didn't grow up with. But they gave me their vote because I grew up in Arua. And I was deep in the village, and I remember there was even no network, and then I got this call. It was actually Kanu Nakalema who called me to break me the news. And I was with the elders deep in a place called Liru in Koboko. And I got the call and I could not believe. And my reaction was, why? Because Minister for Youth? Why? I was already suffering with the young people as a youth MP. And they always have saying this, saying that. I mean, it was too much headache. Now I become the Minister for Youth. After having an interaction with the president one day and telling him that Chibule, Honorable Chibule, who was my predecessor, was a very nice guy. Had it been me, those young people who give him vote of no confidence, I would beat them up. And I had that conversation, and then I become the Minister for Youth. And I'm like, oh my God, why? Why? Because I couldn't imagine that my problems were getting more compounded. Because it's difficult to be the Minister of Youth. Oh, anyway, well, I became the Minister of Youth 1.5 years, and indeed the problems were compounded. My mom was happy, but did she come for the graduation? The swearing in? No. It's my aunt who came. My mom was busy with her business in DRC. She also didn't expect that. So at the time of swearing in, she was not there. So it was my dad. The news, it was on paper. It was already, you announced.
So the president did not contact you before
no.
he became
No.
appointed you?
No. He said why he wanted me to be the Minister for Youth. I remember his words at the swearing in. He says, Anite is incorruptible. Why I want her to be the minister, why I've appointed her, she's incorruptible. I remember those words very clearly.
So
and meanings that he had studied my character. Because I had already interacted with him when I was youth MP. My first interaction, perhaps, that you'd want to know was when I was, when I went to ask him to be the guest of honor at my wedding. That is an interaction that had a lasting impression in my mind.
When was that?
December. It was actually November, and the wedding was in December, 17th of December. Yes, it was a very interesting encounter because he had a function that coincided with my function on 17th of December, and I had to beg him, and he chose to come for my function. And his response was that, oh, you Ugandans, you've bought me a means of transport. At the time, he just acquired the helicopter, and says, so it's now easy for me to move. I will fly there and fly back, and so have both meetings. And
so you went to him and said they would like you to be...
Yes, to be my chief guest, and it's my dream that when I'm getting married, you should be there, and the Archbishop has accepted. Now I need you. And then he told the First Lady that you'll start with a prayer, because the First Lady reminded him that there was a national prayer in the State House on that day. And then he said, no, Ugandans, they've bought me a chopper, and I would fly to Anita's wedding and then fly back for the prayers. So they're coming to your home, you continue with the function. And it left me with a debt in my heart. I got indebted to the president because he sacrificed himself his time to come and be with me. Yet he had his own function, which he had called for in his house. So for me, I'm forever indebted to him. And after that, he did so many other things that even indebted me more to the head of state. And the president is a mentor, he's a father, he's a friend, he's the president. To me, he's all those people that I describe: a father, a friend, a mentor. And I liked President Museveni, and I still like President Museveni. I think he's a great leader for Uganda, and we need him for all the peace and stability. For me, having been born in DRC in a refugee camp, because Uganda was not peaceful, my parents ran to exile. And I am labeled in some quarters of the society as Congolese for that. I then know that it is very important to value Uganda. It's peace that President Museveni has ushered in this country. We need to be able to differentiate between a personal account and an official account. Now, my official account is there, and it's in the page of Ministry of Finance. Anything that is official has to run there. There is my official biodata in the Ministry of Finance official account. My personal account is run on my personal mobile data. I don't get anything from government for managing it. I was not directed by government to open it. I only thought that it is right, that it has to be private, and it has to be Anite, not Honorable Anite. It has to be Anite. And I had to stretch my name clearly, Anite, because I was also getting mixed with the name. They would give me...
So you said it to drop the title?
Yes, because I needed to be known as Anite. Anite is a brand. The Honorable is every person's person. They have that title. But Anite is a brand. So I need them to know that brand, Anite. And I did mass communication and majored in public relations and focused on marketing. And I know how to market. So Anite is a brand. There's so many honorables. Do you know how many there are? Over 500 honorables. So I need to stand out. And by the way, little kids call me Anite. I don't even let them call me honorable. When I'm moving around, I'd like to be called Anite. And I chose the surname because it's what distincts me. It's what makes me stand out. So it is Anite. And in my private account, you'd find me putting myself kissing with my husband. I do that, and I put it there. They'll rant and rant. I'll put my private business and they'll rant and rant. I put my personal pictures and give personal advice. They'll rant and rant. My biodata is my decision. How I want my biodata to look like is my decision. I can't be pushed in a box by how people want to call me. It should be how I want to be called. First of all, my husband is so handsome, strikingly handsome, and he has great eyes that when he annoys me, it's unless I'm talking to him while I've turned my back. Once I look into his eyes, I melt down. So the argument just dies. This is the truth. Unfortunately, I've told you the truth. I just melt and I will not argue with him. So if I want to argue with him, I will have to call and shout, and so that I don't see him. And then he would tell me in a very nice way, but darling, are you listening to yourself? Then I would start like, oh, what do you mean am I listening to myself? He'll be like, do you think that what you're saying is good? Because he knows that I can't face him and attack. He knows that. So when I call and try to push, he's going to just tell me, are you listening to yourself? Then I will stop ranting. Then I'll stop taking on him. Then I'll tell him, okay, this was the point I'm saying. Then sometimes I get choked with words and I end up crying. So I break down and cry because I would fail to express myself. So I would rather that we solve the problem and we say, okay, maybe if the anger is too much, I'll keep quiet, because I know if I start talking, I'll break down and cry. So I'll keep quiet, and then I would wait and I'll tell him, but do you see what you did to your friend was wrong? They'll return him to me by themselves. They can try, but they'll return him.
Return him?
Yes. Because they will not manage him. Because he's my baby. They can't treat him the way I do. They'll return him. They will. Let them try. They'll return him. So I'm not worried, because I know they'll return him. What I regretted was something that I said without knowing the meaning of the word. So once upon a time, we were advocating for the amendment of the Constitution, and that's out of desire that President Museveni should continue to be the president. And I was very passionate about it, because I was the first person to actually go to him and say, please, you cannot just leave us like this. You have to continue. But for you to continue, we have to amend the Constitution. And it is 1 year down the road for us to go for election. If we don't amend it now, it's going to be a big problem. And he's like, for me, I think I have done my bit. The things I wanted to do is East African integration and the oil and peace and stability of Uganda and socio-economic transformation of Uganda. But if you people feel that I should continue, I really want to leave it to you. And I'm like, no, it can't be. You have to help us. The oil is not out. Uganda is not, the East African integration is not complete. So we can't just let you go. And so I came back and mobilized my friends and went back to him, and we did what we did and mobilized from 6 people to 29. From 29, we went to 100 plus people in parliament. And there came a lot of intimidation. And the people that I had worked so hard with my small team to mobilize, they were getting demobilized. And you remember that the MPs, that was when this red billet started. They were tying their heads and they would beat you. You'd see blood. We are going to the gym. They would even go and do the exercise and go to the gym and do everything that they were doing. So one afternoon I was in my office and I was watching on TV how, as a journalist, you have to be on the headlines. And now we are moving off the headlines. It is now the opposition taking the headlines. That only meant that the momentum for the drive for amending the Constitution was dying down. And all those who are with us were getting demobilized. So we had to mobilize them again. And I'm like, I think we have to go back and have a press conference. And out of emotion, because I was watching and I was very angry, went there and I saw these guys in the gym and news, all the cameras had turned to them, and like, no, it can't be like that. How? And so we go to Cap Parliament, and I called Honorable Peter, I called Honorable Rakajara, and I told them, guys, we have to go and do a press conference. They said, what are we going to say? We've said everything. Everyone is scared. And I'm like, let's just go there and give hope. They're like, okay, so? They said, you are too annoyed. You're not going to talk. So I said, okay, but for me, I want you guys to talk. I'll sit here. So I gave the microphone to them so that they could give hope. Those whom we mobilized started going behind, and they would go and hide like under the table, sort of not wanting to be seen on the camera anymore. And I'm like, this can't be. So I told, it was almost like fait accompli, the press conference was done. And I'm like, no, bring that microphone. They brought it to me. And then I told them, now, for me, we have come from West Nile. And for us from northern Uganda, we don't have to go to the gym to show to you that we are what? We eat kalo, we have the strength. But if all this fails, we have the maje. Now, honestly speaking, I didn't know what maje meant. I had just heard the word in the corridors. Maje, maje, maje. I had not known that it meant the military. So, I'm just using a word. It's a Luganda word. I hardly speak Luganda. But I didn't know that. That's when I realized that words have impact. That you can say something and it will hit. It can just flare out. And then it did. By the time I was leaving Parliament, I had received 1,000 calls. Among them was my husband's call. Actually, before my husband called, I called him. I told him, darling, I don't know what I did, but everyone, I'm listening to the radio, they just Ogunomwan, Anite, Ogunomwan. Ogunomwan. Like, what have I done? So I panicked. And he didn't also understand Uganda, so he's like, okay, let's see what turns out. So I'm panicking. Even those who are in government were telling me what I said was wrong. Everybody turned against me. And now I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I just say? What was it? So I had to look for the president to tell him I have said that word. Then he said, what did you say? I said that we have the Maje. If these guys keep on intimidating, and indeed there were death threats on our phone. And I gave him the whole scenario. But he told me, now you're going to have to go and explain yourself. And in fact, tell them that the sovereignty of Uganda shall be protected and defended by the Maje. So if anybody wants to destabilize this country, the Maje will come and defend the country. I'm like, okay. So is that what actually meant? So I didn't know that it was this huge. So when I went to cabinet before the president came in, I was treated like a leper. You know this guy who has leprosy and the bell is on the neck, everybody's running away. They don't want to talk to you because you've done something bad. I was so scared and I sat in a corner alone waiting for him. It still took the president to come and explain to them the meaning of what I said. Until then, I started getting support again. But it's one thing that I said unknowingly and it had that impact. Had I known, I don't think that I would have used the word. Life-changing moments was when I got married. My life changed. When I got married, a lot changed about me. I had to dress in a certain way that the man wanted me to dress like. Before that, I was dressing in a tomboy way. I would put on my shorts and my jeans and that. And a lot had to change. Now I had to start wearing decent trousers. Still, he kept me with my trousers, but then they had to be more decent. So I had to be, then being a politician, I had to drop so many things. I don't think, if I was not a politician, I think I would be spending time flying around the world. I think so. I think I would just be, because I wanted to be an air hostess. And I would just be living that easy life and be a model, just swing myself around and just feel good. But now, my life has changed. It's community I have to do, and I don't regret it. It's nice. It's nice where I am because I have been able to transform lives of people, create employment opportunities for Ugandans, and my work is feasible. It's visible. You look behind, you see all the factories. You look the other side, you see all the factories. You walk out, you see the factories. It's a legacy that, with the support of President Museveni, that I have been able to make and contribute for my country. For that, I'm proud of Anite. I think it was a blessing to have lost the election. Did I feel angry? Yes, I did. What point did I feel angry? At the point when my billboards were getting banned. I felt my billboards getting banned, people organizing themselves to want to burn down my hotel, burn down my houses. I felt pain. Losing wouldn't be a problem, but the reaction to somebody who has done work, service for you, was so painful because I asked myself and I haven't gotten the answer. Why did they have to do this? And I called them And I'm like, why did you have to buy my billboards? Did I do anything wrong? If anything, I have supported you guys. I did open circles in every village for women. Every village circle for women had 3 million. Men had 1 million. Youth had 100 million in a youth circle. I had given halls to change the lives of my people, to every single voter. I had built and roofed churches, built a full mosque. The biggest mosque in Koboko was built by myself. I brought the investors, Sina Foundation from Turkey. In the whole of West Nile, I built it.
Using your own money?
I got the investors, Sina Foundation. They are Turkish, because I had a good friend. I was in good friendship with the Turkish embassy, and so they gave me that investor. And we built the biggest mosque in the whole of West Nile. I roofed churches. I took the president and he contributed 1 billion to a church. We started the foundation of the church. I started an education fund.
So it was very painful when you...
What was not, spending on them was not painful. Why ban my billboards? Why want to ban my hotel? Why want to ban my house? Just because of elections? Violence? I don't like election violence. The story of the ambulance, it's good that you've asked me the story of the ambulance. I actually gave the people of Koboko the ambulance, and it's on record. I gave them the ambulance. First time delivered the ambulance. Second time after losing election, I still gave it to them. But they rejected that ambulance. They told me they wanted me to deface, remove all my posters on the ambulance. I had paid in the accounts of Koboko local municipal account 6 months salary for the driver of the ambulance, which driver today is my driver, paid. But they told me they could not maintain, it was not in the fleet of their cars, and the sitting MP did not want to see the ambulance, and so therefore they couldn't keep the ambulance. I told them, no problem, let the driver drive the ambulance to me. He drove it to me. And they went again and politicked and put it in the papers. And I told them, the way you treat me is the way I respond to you. Ask me a stupid question, I give you a stupid answer. They asked, why did you remove your ambulance? I gave them the stupid answer. Why didn't you give me your votes? So, for me, you reap what you sow. I have never feared. If there is anything that I have never feared, is losing any political office. I don't get scared that I can ever lose being a minister. I told you, it found me in the bushes. I was in Koboko the first time. The second time I was sleeping in my living room and my husband woke me up with a champagne, shaking it like this. Darling, congratulations, you've been appointed the Minister of Finance. And again, why? I don't know finance. Why? I have always asked the question, why? Because I do not aspire and dream that from this ministry I have to go to this ministry, from the other ministry I have to go to the other ministry. What I know is that I know myself. I can work. Like I told the people of Koboko, if I am not their MP, it would be their loss. Up to today, it is their loss. I've not lost. It is their loss. And they know that they lost. So for me, if you don't want me in your life, no problem. It's your loss, because I know myself. I know that I am a value addition. What makes me tick is my ability to turn around things. It's my ability to strategize. I'm a strategist. Every day I strategize, and all my strategies work. It makes me tick. And my ability to turn around things, what people say that cannot work, I am able to work hard to make sure that it works. When you say it has failed, for me, I will go for it and work so hard and turn it around.
New Vision TV. Stream smart, stream New Vision.